Welcome back, guys, to yet another Brave Exvius video. Yes, we're going over Neo Visions once again, but today we're going to consolidate all the information of what we know now as Neo Visions in JP are released. I'm going to tell you guys exactly everything you need to know about Neo Visions, how you awaken them, how you get them, the right to get them, what's the point of Neo Visions, what's their strengths, what's their weaknesses, exactly everything involved with a Neo Vision for you guys today, starting from the rates to how you awaken them, all that good stuff. Listen, guys, we're going in right now. We're going to jump on over to the JP version of the game on top of this all, so you guys can have a first-hand peek at the Neo Vision experience. So first of all, Neo Visions, if you haven't been in the loop, you haven't seen any of the information on the channel this week about them, they're going to be a new type of unit. There's going to be new characters that are launched as Neo Visions, and we're going to have sort of awakening batches, so older characters get a Neo Vision form as well. So it's not really like an 8-star, it's more of like a side grade slash upgrade thing. They are stronger, they are better by quite a bit. They're kind of basically 8 stars without really being 8 stars. So the main thing about Neo Visions, you're going to have higher base stats. You're going to have this thing called Brave Shift at a certain point, at a certain awakening, which is the first one that you can get and the easiest one to get. And they're also going to be able not only to do these two new mechanics, but you're going to be able to wear vision cards. So we're going to tackle all of this stuff point by point by point. So for a new character, as you can see, they have a banner, right? Cloud is the new character, the 7 remake Cloud. If you haven't seen him, he comes down as a Neo Vision when you pull him. So he's going to be base 7-star already. There's already a base 7-star Cloud. As you pull that character, when he cracks out of that crystal, he's going to be in his Neo Vision form as well. So this means you do not need a duplicate unit to gain access to the base version of Neo Vision Cloud. Now on top of that, you're going to be getting awakening batches for older characters like we have right now in JP with Tifa as well as Red 13. They have Neo Vision forms, and these are going to be the old units, okay? Not new versions of Red 13 that you have to pull or new versions of Tifa that you have to pull, the old 5-star base versions of these units, and they're going to have their own requirements to be awakened to their Neo Vision form. Mainly, you're going to need them at 7-star max level, and they're going to have their super TMR already. Once you have that ready to go, you're going to be able to take those characters into their Neo Vision forms. You don't have to, and I've seen a lot of people talk about this. The new characters, if you pull them when they come out, they do not need their super TMR. When you pull them, they will be in their own red crystal, and they're going to be Neo Visioned right away. Now, on top of that, there's going to be 2 things to talk about here, which is the Exo Wakening System, as well as the burst abilities that you gain access to with your Neo Vision. So the 2 things we're going to talk about, the first one here is the Exo Wakening System. Once you have a Neo Vision character, whether it's a new one that you've pulled or an old character that you've awakened into their base Neo Vision form, they're going to have 3 different Neo Vision EX, as we like to call them, EX awakenings. There's going to be the base version that you just don't have any awakenings for them at all whatsoever. You're going to have EX +1, +2, and +3. So for the base Neo Vision characters like Cloud, let's go ahead and take a look at him real quick. We're going to be able to go in here, and he's going to have these 3 different EX plus forms. Now the first one is the cheapest version, and for all characters you're going to need these things called fragments. Now you're going to get these in various ways. You can get them from duplicate units, you can get them from the shop, you can get them from events, you can get them from a lot of different ways, login rewards, etc. And you're going to be able to gain access to these in that way. You're also going to be able to gain access to these in other ways in the future. I think right now, for instance, there's a Safer Sephiroth fight where you can gain access to not fragments, but something that we're going to be using for the Brave abilities down the road when we talk about that. So with this being said, the first EX Plus version that you get access to, you're going to have access to the EX +1, and this is the big one because it gives you a large amount of base stat increase, and then it is going to give you access to Brave Shift, which is going to transform the character in battle. Okay, you can do this, and it's going to give them a new skill set to use, and it's going to actually change what they can and cannot equip, and it's going to give you access to, before combat, you can give them a secondary gearing equipment slot for everything else if you want to do that. And you can see here that Cloud, for instance, he can equip swords, great swords, and maces in his normal form, but when he Brave Shifts, he loses access to maces and he gets katanas and fist weapons. So you gain access to this thing. It's really powerful. and a lot of characters are going to be able to brave shift at different times in the fight. Some of them will last a certain duration and then you'll revert back. Some of them have longer cooldowns. But Cloud, for instance, can do it, I think, basically every turn. You can transform into this motorcycle form if you want to do that. Red 13, I do believe, has to wait a couple of turns, and then he can Neo Shift into his form. Not Neo Shift, but Brave Shift into his alternate form from his Neo Vision. And then Tifa can do it, and she lasts a couple of turns, and then she gets out of there. So what do you get from doing +2 and +3? +2 and +3 are a little more expensive than before, fragment-wise and pearl-wise. +2, honestly, for a base Neo Vision unit, it's going to give you 100% STMR Moogle. So this is the way that you're going to be able to gain access to their Super TMR. You can either gain access to duplicate units of them, gain access to their fragments from events and quests, etc., to get their STMR, or you can just go ahead and use your 100 STMR tickets. I do believe they get 100% STMR Moogle and plug them on in there and get them that way. On top of that, you're going to get a little bit extra base stats, but it's not nearly enough in comparison to the +1 version. And then the +3 version for a base Neo Vision unit, remember this is for base Neo Vision unit, is going to gain access to a little bit more base stats, and they're going to have their own Neo Vision card. And this is the last thing that really kind of is different between all the different Neo Vision characters you have available and the non-Neo Vision characters, the non-Neo Vision 7 stars, is they basically have an extra equipment slot for this Neo Vision card. It's not honestly super game breaking, because it's just a little bit of extra stats. Different cards are better than other cards, and what they're going to do is give you extra base stats, or not, I don't know if it's base stats, but extra stats, and then they're going to have at certain levels, certain breakpoints, they can be leveled from 1 to 10. Certain levels like 4, 7, and 10 are the most common ones right now. They might give you like 30% element resistance to an element, or Leviathan stats, or 50% attack with a great sword, and you can gain access to these varieties of different bonuses though. So they're not like super game breaking, they do look really cool, but for right now they're just extra status and not super crazy. And you can see the EX level up here next to Tifa's level based on the right next to her 120, the little green dots to indicate her EX level. Now on top of that, we have these EX things. We have also the Brave abilities to talk about. These are going to work very similarly to anyone who's done the Ability Awakening system. It's basically a new version of the Ability Awakening system. You're going to use the same sort of thing, new different materials that you gain access to from events, and you're going to awaken these up to level 5, okay? And each character is going to have 3 or 4 different Brave abilities, usually a passive in there, and then a couple of active skills. Some of the Brave abilities you can use in your base form, some of them you have to use your Brave Shift version, right? And some of them are available in both. So that's going to be a little bit of a unique aspect for those characters as well. And as you can see, Tifa's equipment selection doesn't change like Cloud's does, but she does get different passives. She does get different active skills in her kit here when we're talking about her Brave Shift form. So pretty cool. And her base stats actually do change there. As you can see, 482 base attack here, Brave Shift, 812. So, and all of their sprites change. They have different limit bursts too. Their limit bursts do change when you're Brave Shifting. It's pretty cool. Take a look at that. And that's probably the coolest thing, I think, is just like the amount of work that's in these sprites. It's pretty cool to see that, right? She's got her LB here, and then you can Brave Shift. That's the typical one. Her Brave Shifted LB, time kind of freezes there, zooms in, camera looking cool. We go down here to her limit burst, hit that, boom, just one big heaven fist thrust. I don't even know what, Final Heaven? I think it's just like Final Heaven. Pretty cool, the Brave Shift formula there, but you're going to be getting these different sort of materials through the different events as I bumble through the menus here to show you guys the ones in JP. I think it's this one. I think it's, no, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's these tickets that you get from the event. You're able to go ahead and transform and trade them in for different things. Where is it? I'm so bad at being a content creator sometimes. I'm telling you what, it's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere, believe me. I can't read. I can't do it. It's not that either. Oh, here it is. Here it is. This is like the different things you can exchange in the current event. Right now you can get Tifa shards, so you can gain access to her different Neo version EX Plus forms. The pearls we were talking about, so you can gain access to that. And then here are the different materials that you're going to be using for your Brave ability leveling up. Very similar to the Elcris system, right? We have blue, red, purple, white, and then higher tier versions on top of that, and then even higher tier versions on top of that. So it's just another currency that you can farm, another thing that you can get, another reason for you guys to keep doing the objective, something they just have, if they're implementing new content, they can't let you just use your old materials. I understand that. It makes sense to me, right? They bring out these new characters. Hey, do you have 5,000 huge power crysts laying around? You're good to go for all the Neovision characters in the future. So that's basically what that is. On top of that, that's the vast majority of the Neovision system as we know it right now. Brave abilities, EX forms, new and old characters gaining access to Neovision forms. So very strong. The Neovision EX system, the +1, 2, and 3, what I talked about, right? Getting 100% Super TR Moogle, getting a Neovision card. That is only for the base Neovision unit. Keep that in mind. That's only for the base version. You're not going to be able to smash a bunch of Tifas and Red 13s together, and you're not going to be raining down 100% Super TMR Moogles. The old characters don't really get anything outside of just extra base stats for the +2 in the +3 version. And it's not that many base stats. The +2 and +3 version for base stats for the vast majority of the characters that we're talking about, the base stats that you gain from that are right around, if not a little bit less, or sometimes a tiny bit more than just +1 by itself. +1 is definitely where you want to be for every Neovision unit, guaranteed, because you get the Brave Shift and you get a large amount of base stats there. That's where you want to be for Neovision units. +1 minimum. You don't want to have access to just the base version of a Neovision unit, because a lot of the power of those characters comes from the Brave Shift form. After that, though, you just farm the event or whatever for the abilities to ability awakening their Brave abilities. That's the easiest thing to do. Now, as far as getting currency, we'll have to see how this pans out, right? They might be super generous with the ability for you to gain access to, you know, +1, you know, EX level for Cloud and Tifa in Red 13. We'll have to see how this pans out. Right now, it's not very hard at all to get +1 minimum, which is what you need for all these characters without having to pull for a duplicate unit. Right now, remember, it's 10% rainbow rate. 1% of that is for the Neovision unit, and the only Neovision unit in the game right now is Cloud himself. We'll have to see how that goes. Is it going to be 1% Neovision unit always for the current banner? I highly doubt it, but we'll have to see how things are handled. I think it looks very cool, very fun. I've seen a lot of people get their hands on it and they're kind of enjoying it. And I honestly think that the quality of like the sprite work and stuff, that went up enough. But honestly, as well, you guys know as well as I do, it doesn't matter how pretty it looks. The system itself has to be judged on the merits of itself. And right now, I think it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty cool. And the way that they're spanning out how many units you can gain access to, and how many characters are going to be in a batch per Neovision unit is going to be, it's going to be the thing to look at in the long run, because these units do take a little bit more time to work on, and it's going to be a higher investment. So that's super high, right? You're not grinding 5,000 different things to get it. You're just doing your normal events, and the events are giving you different rewards. But it is a little bit higher investment, and that character's got to be worth that investment in the long term. So we'll have to see about that. Oh, and one last thing I didn't touch on. When you pull a Neovision unit, you do get their own specific Neovision. Oh, no, you don't get a Neovision card from pulling them. You get a Neovision card, a Vision card, period, for pulling them. Awakening them to +3 is the way that you get their own specific card there. So that's going to be pretty much everything on Neovision units. We'll have to see exactly how it all pans out. As far as awakening characters above +2, 2 +2 and +3, so above +1, it is a lot harder. But for the old units, it's super unnecessary. For the new units, you're really only getting that 100% Moogle as well as their own specific card. And for right now, guys, the card doesn't seem to be like, it's pretty good, right? It's like 100% attack when you're using a sword, not a sword, a great sword, and like 30% attack if you're an FF7 unit. But we're already hitting the cap. You know, even if they raise the cap to 500. If you already have good gear, you're already hitting that cap. You're already going way beyond the cap and stuff. So, and there's already ways to get super TMRs for different characters that you want. So that's going to be a thing. There is a little bit of confusion for a lot of players about awakening characters, old units specifically. Should you get their super TMR before you awaken them? Should you not get their super TMR as you awaken them? Because you get different amounts of fragments and these pearls based on what sort of character you're trading in. Because, right, you can trade in old units for fragments too to accelerate your EX +1, +2, and +3 rate. A 5-star character gives you 25 fragments for that character in a low-grade pearl. A 7-star character gives you 50 fragments in 2 low-grade pearls. And then the Neovision version of that character gives you 50 fragments as well in a high-grade pearl. And the high-grade pearl is used to obtain EX +3. So that's pretty much when you want to do that. Now remember, NV unit. takes 4 copies of an old unit, gives you 50 fragments. A 7-star character gives you 50 fragments. A 5-star character or 6-star gives you 25. So that Neovision is 4 characters for 50, or you could trade in 5 characters for 25 each. That's 100 and 4 cheap pearls, or you could trade in 2 7-star characters for 100 and 4 cheap pearls. So you're really losing access to that super TMR, and you're losing, or it's a balance between the super TMR and how many fragments and what grade of pearl that you want. So when this finally hits global, obviously we're gonna have a video covered on that. I wanted to touch on that. Probably talked about it a little too much, to be honest with you, but that's Neovisions all in a nutshell. It doesn't seem to be too grindy right now or anything of that nature. It doesn't seem to be too ridiculous as far as like rates or anything, right? It's 1% Neovision rate. That's the equivalent of kind of what we have right now in global with our on-banner, off-banner split, like 2% on-banner, 3% off-banner, 5% total rainbow. So it's half, but we also have multiple on-banners at the same time. So if we have 2 characters on-banner, 2% on-banner rate with 2 characters, divide that by 2, that's 1%. So it's the equivalent rate, but this way, right now, what they have, there's no step up or anything of that nature. So keep that in mind, but also you only need to pull 1 copy of the character. So we'll have to see how this goes, how this pans out. I've heard some people got really unlucky. I've seen some people that got super lucky. They were like, I did 110+1, got a cloud, EX +1'd them, I'm ready to go. Bada bing, bada boom, no dupe system, anything of that nature. It feels really good to pull the character now. There's no, I got one, oh, I need to get another one. Do I have any ULCs saved up? So I'm gonna stop babbling for you guys. If you guys want to see more stuff, right? I babbled so much I couldn't even get that sentence out. If you guys want to see more stuff, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, help out the video, leave that like. It helps out so much when you guys do that. Honestly, it lets YouTube know we exist down here. I'm playing it small channel. It's a good thing, good feeling. I want to see your guys' feedback about this, how you guys are feeling it out and stuff of that nature. I think it's okay, but I'm still not like across the line of like there's no problems with it whatsoever. It's the greatest thing ever. I think it's got super, super strong promises to be a fantastic new system. I'm liking what I'm seeing, but it's gonna take, we'll have to see what happens with it in the future, the next month or so, to really judge it and get a firm grasp on it then. So until then, guys, thank you so much for the support, especially on Patreon and YouTube channel members. You guys help out so much. Hopefully those little rewards help you out too. And then until then, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.